Greetings candidates and welcome to the lesson. Today we are going to study the International Framework for Audit and Assurance Services. In our last session we covered the legal framework for auditors in Kenya. We identified the bodies and regulations that govern the audit work in Kenya. Today our focus is on the International Framework for Audit and Assurance Services. And candidates, the International Framework for Audit and Assurance Services is governed by some key organizations and standards. That is our focus for our today's lesson. We're going to study the key organizations and the standards behind the International Framework for Auditors and for Audit and Assurance Services. Now, the first key organization is the International Federation of Accountants. One, International Federation of Accountants. Now, candidates, the International Federation of Accountants is a global organization that represents the accounting profession. It also sets international standards and guidelines for audit and assurance services. This body establishes the international standards on auditing, the international standards on review engagements, and also the international standards on assurance engagements. That is the ISAEs. It establishes the ISS, the ISREs, and the ISAEs. ISRS, then the ISAEs. This body does what? Establishes the international standards on auditing, ISAs. This body also establishes the international standards on review engagements, ISREs, review engagement, international standards on review engagements. The body also establishes what we call the international standards on assurance engagements, international standards on assurance engagements, ISAEs. These standards, candidates, provide a framework for conducting high quality audits. It helps in conducting high quality reviews and other assurance engagements. That is the International Federation of Accountants. It is an international, it is a global organization. It's the Federation of Accountants globally. The second body is known as the International Auditing and Assurance Standards Board. International Auditing and Assurance. International Board. International Auditing and Assurance Board. International Auditing and Assurance, International Standards Auditing and Assurance Board. The International Auditing and Assurance Standards Board. The International Auditing and Assurance Standards Board. Yes, Standards Board. International Auditing and Assurance Standards Board. I got it right. The International Auditing and Assurance Standards Board. Now, this board is an independent standard setting board under International Federation of Accountants. It's a branch of International Federation International Federation Accountants candidates. It is a body. It is an independent standard setting. It's international auditing and assurance. It sets auditing and assurance standards. It is an independent standard setting board under International Federation Accountants of Accountants. This body develops and maintains the standards, the international standards on auditing, the ISAs. It is this board that develops the ISAs. Okay? The international standards on auditing are developed by IAASB. Do you understand? This body also develops the ISREs and the ISAEs. These are standards in auditing. ISREs, the ISAEs, international standards, IAASEs. So the International Auditing Assurance Standards Board candidates develops and maintains, number 1, the international standards on auditing. Number 2, the international standards on review engagements. Number 3, the international standards on assurance engagements. International standards assurance engagements. So these standards are developed by the International Auditing and Assurance Standards Board. And these standards establish principles, these standards establish procedures for auditors and assurance practitioners. Then we have international ethics. International ethics, other than just the standards that can help the auditors carry out their work effectively, we also have standards on ethics. We have the International Ethics Standards Board. International Ethics Standards Board. Ethics Standards Board. The International Ethics Standards Board. International Ethics Standards Board. And this is Standards Board for accountants. The International Ethics Standards Board for accountants. The International Ethics Standards Board for accountants. The International Ethics Standards Board for accountants. Now, this is another standard setting board under International Federation of Accountants, which includes which sets code of ethics for professional accountants, which includes ethical requirements for auditors and assurance practitioners. And this code establishes the principles, establishes the safeguards to ensure auditors' independence, to ensure auditors' integrity, and also to ensure the auditors' professional behavior and conduct. Ethics. That is number 3. We are studying the international regulatory framework. Number 4, international financial reporting standards. The IFRS. International Financial Reporting Standards, IFRSs. Now these IFRSs are issued by the International Accountants Standards Board. They are issued by the International Accountants Standards Board. They are issued by the International Accountants Standards Board, and it provides the globally accepted accounting standards for preparation and presentation of financial statements. And candidates, auditors consider the International Financial Reporting Standards when assessing the fairness and compliance of financial statements with the applicable reporting framework. When you are engaged or as an auditor and you are auditing the financial statements of a company, companies are required to prepare and present their financial statements based on the International Financial Reporting Standards. When an auditor comes in to examine the records, the auditor checks whether the company has prepared and presented the financial statements in accordance with the set standards. So the International Financial Reporting Standards is an international regulatory framework for the auditors. The International Financial Reporting Standards that are set by the International Accounting Standards Board. Then there is the ISQC. The ISQC, number 5, the ISQC. That is the International Standards on quality control. International standards, international standards on quality control. The ISQC. International Standards on Quality Control. Now, these standards are developed by the International Accounting Standards Board, all right? The ISQC, which provides guidelines on the quality procedures that audit firms must establish and maintain. These standards sets out the responsibilities of the firm's leadership, of the firm's engagement partners, of the firm's engagement teams in ensuring the quality of audits and other assurance engagements. These ones are set to help auditors maintain high quality audits. International Standards on Quality Control. They provide guidelines for auditors on quality control procedures, and audit firms must adhere to these, must make sure that they incorporate these standards in their operations so as to ensure high quality audits. Do you understand? International Standards on Quality. International Standards on Quality Control. International Standards on Quality Control, ISQC. Number 6, moving on to number 6, is the International Standards on Assurance Engagements. International Standards on Assurance Engagements. International Standards on Assurance Engagements, which we had said that are developed by the International Auditing and Assurance Standards Board, which works under International Federation of Accountants. So candidates, the ISAEs, particularly ISAE 3000, number 3000, ISE number 3000, provides guidance for assurance engagements other than audits and reviews of historical financial information. This standard covers engagements such as examination of prospective financial information. We have compliance engagements such as examinations of prospective financial information. And by the way, prospective financial information refers to the information like budgets, like estimates, and so on. Do you understand? It covers examination of prospective financial information. And we shall be looking at prospective financial information in our subsequent lessons. All right? Yes, we shall. Did we cover that? Or are we going to cover the prospective? Yes, we are going to cover prospective financial information under topic number 6, that is the audit related assurance services. The audit related assurance services. The audit related assurance services. So therefore, candidates, ISAE 3000 provides guidance for assurance engagements other than audits and reviews of historical financial information. This means that candidates, there are other audits that an auditor may carry out other than the traditional audit of financial statements. We know that audit of financial statements is an audit of historical records. Financial statements are historical records. So other than the historical records known as financial statements, the auditor may be required to conduct audit on prospective financial information. This is information which is prospective. This is information which is future oriented, and such is covered under International Standards on Assurance Engagements number 3000. Historical financial information. It covers engagements such as examination of prospective financial information, compliance engagements, and assurance engagement on non-financial information. Non-financial information, we shall be also be covering it in detail when we be looking at audits of, say, the social audits, the environmental audits, and so on. Environmental audit is an audit on non-financial information, as well as social audit. Social audit is an audit of non-financial information. You understand? Then number 7, we are discussing international regulatory framework for auditors. We have ISRE 2400, ISRE 2400, ISRE 2500. ISRE stands for International Standards on Review Engagement. International Standards on Review Engagement. ISRE 2400 provides guidance for engagements to review historical financial statements. It outlines the procedures to be performed and the reporting requirements for review engagements. Review engagements, all right? Review engagements. This is International Standards on Review Engagements. So this standard provides guidelines. It outlines the procedures to be performed and the reporting requirements for review engagements. Candidates, these international standards and guidelines form the basis for audit and assurance practices globally. These standards form the basis for review and audits globally. they promote consistency. These standards promote consistency. They promote transparency. They promote high quality practices in the audit professionals and auditors in the audit profession. And auditors and assurance practitioners are expected to comply with these standards. They are expected to do what? To comply with these standards in order to provide reliable and independent assurance to the stakeholders. That's why we are studying this international regulatory framework. It's important for you as we set out to train you in audit of financial and non-financial records. It's important for you to understand the environment in which you operate. You will operate as an auditor. You will be guided by International Federation of Accountants, standards set by International Federation of Accountants under the ISA. We have the ISS, we have the ISREs, we have the IAASBs. Then there is also the International Auditing and Assurance Standards Board, which is the board that sets the international standards on auditing, the ISREs, the ISAEs. Then there is also the International Ethics Standards Board for Accountants, IAASB. Number 4, we've studied the International Financial Reporting Standards, the IFRS. The IFRSs are set by the IAASB. International Standards Board sets the International Financial Reporting Standards. We've also studied the International Standards Quality Controls. The International Standards Quality Control. We've said that these are the controls that are developed by the IAASB, the International Standards on Quality Controls. International Standards on Quality Controls, the ISQC. These are developed and they provide guidelines on the quality control procedures that audit firms must establish and maintain. They must establish and do what? And maintain. It sets out the responsibility. These standards sets out the responsibilities of the firm's leadership. The firm's leadership. This is the audit firm leadership. The ISQC developed for audit firms. So these standards set the responsibilities for the audit firm's leadership. It sets the responsibilities for the engagement partners. These standards set the responsibilities for the engagement teams in ensuring the quality of audits and other assurance engagements. Is that clear, candidates? International regulatory framework. It's important for you to be well versed with all these standards. In our last session, we covered other legal frameworks, like here in Kenya, we talked about the Companies Act, the Public Audit Act, the Capital Markets Authority, the Central Bank of Kenya, the Insurance Regulatory Authority, and many other regulatory authorities that form the regulatory environment within which the auditor operates. Is that clear, candidates? And on that note, we'll take a break. When we come back, we are going to study the auditor's professional liability and legal responsibilities. Bye-bye.